Welcome everyone. So today we're gonna interview one of the experts when it comes to termite inspections. If you are a home seller or even a home buyer, you need to follow to the end of this video because we're gonna drop a lot of information. I have one of the best companies in the area. I'm gonna introduce him to you. Please stay to the end because you're gonna get a lot of benefits today. Thank you so much for coming. I would like to start with asking you your name, your company name, and how long you've been in business.
Fantastic. Thank you for letting me come on your show today.
Absolutely.
My name is Zeniff Jasso. I go by Z. I am with Accurate Termite and Pest Control, and we have been in business for 26 years. We're celebrating 26 years this year.
Amazing.
We started in San Clemente in Southern California, and slowly we've grown to our service areas from LA down to San Diego and the Inland Empire. So
nice.
we
So
cover all of that area.
It's a good coverage of the area. Awesome. So my first question to you, Z, is when is a good time to do termite inspection?
It's a great question. So the best time to do an inspection is when, because of where we live here in Southern California, termites can be very prevalent. So anytime you feel
moisture, all these kind of things,
the temperature, the moisture, everything is conducive to termites being a problem here. So as a homeowner, anytime you see any evidence, or even if you don't see evidence, termites could be there. So do a regular inspection. If you are a buyer or a seller, that's the state once came out with a document that gave two different recommendations. And if you don't mind, I'll read
absolutely.
that document.
Read it
here
to the audience because they love to get educated.
So this is a document that was given from the State of California Department of Pesticide Regulations, which is the Structural Pest Control Board, which is basically the governing body for all termite and pest control companies.
Okay.
And it gave two different recommendations, like I said. One, it says, and I quote, "It is advisable for a buyer to get an inspection report as close as possible to the close of escrow. If you are selling a home, you can save time by having your property inspected for pest damage just before you plan to put it on the market and making sure any problems are fixed." So the state is giving two recommendations, one for the buyer and one for the seller.
One for the seller.
If you're a buyer, it says to do it as close to the end of escrow as possible. Now, I don't know about you, but waiting to the end of anything is not a good idea, especially when it comes to escrow, because sometimes it can take time to address those issues. If you're
get a report on time, address the issues, fix them.
Exactly.
It's a recipe for a disaster, basically, if you wait till the last minute.
Exactly.
Don't do it, guys.
That's right. Yeah. You have to schedule the inspection. You have to get the report, which can take 1 to 2 business days. We guarantee a 2 business day turnaround on the report.
That's very good. That's very fast.
And once you get the report, if you choose to go get the work done, to get the work scheduled, to get the work completed, so
that's another
that's
time.
A whole other. It can. I asked our office manager. I asked her, what's the average time that it takes for us to do, from beginning to end, and it can vary from 1 to 3 weeks. After the inspection is done, to get it scheduled, completed. It can, depending on the level of work that needs to be done. The damage. Exactly. So 1 to 3 weeks, and if your escrow is only 30 days, and it takes 3 weeks,
there is no enough time.
There is no. So I would recommend, as soon as you have a home that you want to buy, get that inspection done as quickly as possible. At least that way you know. If you're a seller, in this document, the state recommended to do it as soon as possible, or even before
the listing of the home.
Exactly. I think one of the benefits for the buyer doing that is they know exactly what they have in their home. They know the damage. If they do all the repairs, they know
the cost.
Exactly. So that can give them it gives them more negotiation power.
Exactly.
Essentially, you know what's damaged, you've taken care of the damage, or even if you don't take care of the damage, you know what it could cost.
How much
So
to fix it.
you know it could be beneficial for the seller to do that, but obviously that's up to the seller
Exactly.
when they would want to do that, if they would want to do that.
Exactly. Usually, Z, I would like to suggest to the sellers to do it right before listing the home, just to know what is the damage, how much it needs to be taken care of, and not have issues or like a laundry list of fixes that we will get from the buyers when they do the inspection. If we don't do it, they have to do it. And then when they do it, just like you mentioned, you need to take care of it. You need to discuss the price to like fix it. So I don't like to have that friction. So I always suggest for the sellers to do it as soon as possible, even fix it and have a clean record when before listing in the MLS, to give them the upper hand and also less problems during the escrow.
That's a great recommendation.
Yeah, it is, and it worked perfectly in my listings in the past, so I always do that. My follow-up question to you, Z, is what is the difference between Section 1 and Section 2 termite inspection?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
So Section 1 is when we do a termite inspection report, any findings or any active infestations, anything we find in the home at that time that shows an active termite infestation or a wood-destroying organism infestation is noted in Section 1. So an example would be if we find evidence of an active infestation in a window seal or in a window jamb.
Okay.
That's noted on Section 1.
Okay.
So it's an active infestation or evidence that there was termites there, right? Section 2 is, Section 2 is more for anything that is conducive to future infestations. So it's not necessarily...
Which is important.
Right. So it's not necessarily, you're not going to find...
Happening now.
Yeah, anything that's happening now in Section 2, it's anything that could happen later. An example of that could be evidence of excessive water damage on a piece of wood, or a wood member that's touching the ground directly. That could be conducive to either wood rot or subterranean termites getting in there. Section 1 is evidence of active infestations. Section 2 is conditions that can be conducive to future infestations.
Nice. And they are both in the report.
They are both on the report. Obviously, if nothing is found on Section 2, then nothing needs to, nothing needs to be done there. There have been, I don't see all of the termite reports that go through our office, but I did notice one that went through that there was nothing in Section 1 or Section 2. It was a clean report,
house.
Which is fantastic. They're rare, but that was great. Nothing
but
on
it's
Section
out
1,
there.
Section 2, and it's out there. So it's possible.
Because probably the owners, they spend time to do every 5 years or like every 4 years, whatever the period for a checkup and inspection and like fumigation to keep the property in a good condition.
Yeah, exactly. That regular home maintenance is important to avoid bigger repairs or
down in
down
the future,
road. Exactly.
down the road. Yeah.
And as far as fumigation goes, there's
what do you suggest? What is a good time interval?
Yeah, I've read some companies put out there every 4 to 6 years. I've seen 7 to 10 years. It depends on your location. It depends on how regularly you maintain your property. Because if you find a termite infestation on your window or your door seals, wherever, and you take care of it right then and there, that's great. But if you let it go and it spreads and spreads and spreads, then the damage would be greater and the repairs would also be more. So regular maintenance might be a hassle up front, but it can save you time and headaches in the
future.
Exactly.
Nice. Z, I meant to ask you, I keep hearing about report designations. What are the designations to the termite report?
Okay, great. So there's 4 types of designations, we could say, to a termite report. One is a complete report. The next is limited, it's supplemental, and reinspection. So there's 4 types of...
From the detail all the way to the less details? Like how do you arrange them?
So it's... So the state of California, they recognize structures, right? They don't
not the units.
Right, not a unit. So for example, if you live in a 4-unit condo and the entire place is inspected, and so all 4 units are, we go into all 4 units, we inspect all of them, then that designation report would be a complete report.
Okay.
Meaning because we inspected the entire structure. Same with a single-family home. A standalone single-family home, we inspect that home, we're able to get into all of the rooms and inspect everything, and that will produce a complete report. Now, if we go into a condo and only inspect one of the 4 units, even though we inspected that entire condo, that 1 unit, that will produce a limited report because we did not inspect the entire structure. And that's one of the things when someone will see, this is a limited report, why can't I get a complete report?
Because you have a condo.
Because the way the
inspection done to the...
Right, the way the state of California has set up the reports is that we only do a limited report on a section of a section of a structure, not the complete structure. So those are the 2 main ones you'll find. Sometimes you'll also get a supplemental report. A supplemental report would be, we go do an inspection on the home, we couldn't get into, I don't know, one of the closets was locked, or one of the rooms was locked and we couldn't get in. We go back and reinspect just that one room because now it's unlocked. We can reinspect that, and it'll produce a reinspection report, meaning we only inspect that part that was missed on the first go, and that produces the reinspection report. And finally, it's supplemental report. Supplemental report. A reinspection report means we go back to the property and reinspect the entire property.
For what reason?
Could be that it started raining and our inspector didn't want to, after he was all muddy and wet, he didn't want to go into your property or finish the he doesn't want to have go outside, be outside while it's pouring down. So we'd go in and do a reinspection report. That's all it is. So those are the 4 different designations that your termite report could have. And if I could just take a split second here.
Sure.
A termite report also goes by termite and wood destroying organism report, or WDO report.
Okay.
Because a termite report, even though we use it, all agents and most people just say we need a termite report, when we go inspect, we actually inspect both for termites and wood destroying organisms. That could be dry rot or fungus, and that would be included in the inspection report.
In the inspection report. Got it. So that's very good. So when you do the inspection, Z, what things you look in the property, in the structure, when doing the inspection? Okay. What kind of things that you look for?
So when doing an inspection, or if you request for a termite inspection, you'll want to make sure it's both a visual and a probe inspection. When you're able to see termite inspection. Wow. Termite damage visually.
Okay.
Right. So when we go out, we go out to see visually what we're able to see. Sometimes the termite damage isn't visible. So you want to go in with a probe and basically tap on the piece of wood. And you'll see a telescoping, most termite inspectors will have a telescoping probe, kind of like a long ski pole and it's about as blunt as a ski pole. And they just tap on the wood members. And if the wood is infected, it will sound different. Sometimes the probe will go right through that piece of wood. We're not forcing it in. We're just tapping, a light tap. And
but the damage is so severe.
Exactly. If the damage is so severe that blunt probe goes right through, it's not causing damage, it's exposing the damage that's already there. And that was a roundabout way of saying to your answers, like, really, we look for termite damage or active infestations of termite and wood destroying organisms in the home.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. My follow-up question, Z, is when it comes to termite, what are the major concerns when we are doing termite inspections?
Okay.
What are we trying to prevent?
Right. So termites are considered a structural pest, meaning they can cause severe structural damage to a building if goes unchecked. So really, that's the main issue, is structural damage to your property. It's they're not fun or cute bugs. They can look gross, but the main problem is structural damage. They can eat through an entire wood member and turn that into, give it the strength of styrofoam. And if it's a load-bearing wood member, that could
definitely, it's
be
a huge
severe.
problem.
Yeah, it could be a huge problem. So so it's important to get a regular checkup on those
Nice.
properties.
Nice. Here is a fun question for
Okay.
you. Why mold is not included in termite inspection?
Okay, that's
Yeah.
a great question. The short answer is mold is not considered a wood destroying organism.
Okay.
It's not considered, even though
That's good
the
to know.
mold can be on the wood. It's not considered a wood destroying organism. So when you do a termite report or a wood destroying organism report, that's not included in there. It's not something that we look for. Sometimes that might be something your home inspector would note, or if you see mold, then you definitely call someone who is qualified to do mold removal. We, as a termite company, we don't handle mold removal or mold in general. So that's not something we specialize in. But that's also another reason it's not in there, just because it's not a wood destroying organism.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Z, for this lovely info session. Thank you so much, guys, for watching till the end. If you find this video useful, share the video with your family and loved ones to get them educated and elevated when it comes to wood destroying organisms in your building or structure. Take care and see you in the next video.